Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. Back to the work week, back to the business week. And the first full day of seeing how the world reacts to Friday's signing of the Genius Act. Okay, the act that establishes the parameters for the issuance of stablecoin. All right. And before anybody freaks out, no, we're not talking about buying Bitcoin or altcoins or meme coins or anything like this. This is basically a dollar-backed coin. All right. While I'm certainly no expert on it, I'm also nowhere near as ignorant about it as many people in the media, online, who aren't thinking about what this is. The Genius Act, the potential advent, if you will, or I don't want to say potential because there's already stable coins out there, but the parameters set forth aren't anything new. Right? It's been about 25 years since we have seen a major type of currency be introduced to the world. It was back on January 1st, 1999, that the euro was introduced as a common currency in Europe. It took until January 1st of 2022 for banknotes to be circulated. But for the first 3 years of its existence, the euro was a virtual currency to facilitate electronic purchases. I hate to tell you this, but that's exactly what stablecoins are. Okay? Now, you're going to hear all sorts of people scream. I've watched videos, read articles on it. Oh my God, this is a risky asset, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, it's not at all. It's actually reducing the risk of the dollar. And people will say, how is that possible? You think of how much you transmit money electronically. You get on the computer, you pay your electric bill, you pay your credit card bill, you pay your car payment, you pay your mortgage. Most people don't write checks anymore. They don't mail them. You want to talk about a risky way to pay your bills? Put a check in your mailbox. And all the hands it goes through, the chances it can get lost, and all the criminals out there who are managing to erase checks. You made it out to the electric company. They steal the check. They literally whitewash the ink off of it, change the name to their own name, and cash the check. Okay? Or whatever entity, whatever criminal enterprise they have. That's a very risky way to do it. Walking into the electric company, the mortgage company, the automobile dealership with cash and making your payment, not practical, considering most of us that had mortgages or have mortgages, it ain't a local bank. So you have a lot of your transactions are happening digitally anyway. When's the last time you sent money through Venmo, PayPal, Zelle to anybody? A lot of you guys sent it to me for donations to Kerrville via Venmo. It was electronic. Some of you sent me checks. Let's talk about the difference in time. Those of you that sent it to me via Venmo, I had it in seconds. Those of you that sent it to me via check, I had it in days. Okay? This is the difference. This is basically exactly what we're talking about. Is a digital way to transmit money anywhere in the world. If somebody wanted to send me money from Indonesia, they could send it via stablecoin in seconds. If somebody wanted to mail me a check, it would take weeks. Even if they wanted to wire the money, it would take a couple of days. So what you get is a lot more access to the US dollar around the world, which is good. Now, you guys have heard me talk in the past about Mrs. P living in Russia, and one of the very common things for Russians to do, and you can assume people in many other countries, especially those that have volatile currencies, is to go to the bank and exchange their, in her case, rubles for dollars, or rubles for euros, or anything of the sort, to protect themselves from the volatility of the ruble. Mrs. P told me very clearly, this was shortly before we met, about the ruble being devalued by 50%. You woke up in the morning and you had 1,000 rubles in the bank account. You woke up in the morning and there were 500. Okay, wasn't that they stole it, it was just the money got devalued. Those people who had converted their rubles to dollars still had however many dollars they did. The big issue that she said they had was there were many times you would go to the bank and the bank didn't have any more dollars. It wasn't like you were doing this on their bank account. You know, try going to your bank here in the United States and opening up a bank account in Japanese yen. Okay, you can't do it, right? If you want yen, you've got to go to the bank and get the physical yen. Same thing in Russia. They had to get the physical dollars. Well, when the bank runs out of physical dollars, I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have any more. You can't do it today. Come back tomorrow. Maybe we'll have another shipment of U.S. currency or European currency or whatever they were trying to transfer it into. But that all took time. That was a matter of going to the bank, waiting in line. If you've ever been to Russia, you wait in line for everything, okay? And then finding out they don't have what you want. Hence, stablecoin. Let's say you are sitting in the middle of, I don't know, pick somewhere, Jakarta, and you want to buy dollars. And you get on your computer and you go tap, 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 poof, you have stablecoin, dollar coin, whatever, whichever one you get, okay? And you've now converted your Indonesian, whatever their currency is, to dollars. Very quick. Now you want to send it to your aunt and uncle who live in Portland, Oregon. Tap, tap, tap. Poof. I just sent U.S. dollars to my aunt and uncle in Portland, Oregon from Jakarta and never left my kitchen table. Okay? And it happened instantaneously. No currency exchange, no fees, no time, no nothing. All right. So then everybody worries, oh my God, this is a CBDC. They're going to track it. No, it's not. Interesting, huh? Because that also got passed. No CBDC is allowed. Oh, this is just a way for the banks to destroy the dollar more. No, actually, this is a way to stabilize the U.S. dollar. Because in the Genius Act, whoever the issuer is of any sort of stablecoin, be it the U.S. government, be it the banks, be it whatever, are required by law to back up however many coins they have with dollars. One stablecoin equals $1. You can't issue a stablecoin unless you have $1 in reserve, or a dollar-based instrument, i.e. a treasury bill, bond, note, whatever. Okay? The banks can't just do this out of their corporate headquarters. They have to do it through legally distinct subsidiaries. In other words, a centralized organization, not the Fed. Okay? They are also prohibited from using any leverage, meaning they can't borrow to get those dollars to hold in reserve. They can't lend any of these stable coins, and they can't take any risk-bearing activity. They can buy treasuries, they can buy dollars. That's it, which stabilizes the value of the dollar, but increases the reach from where they can get currency. Like I said, it could come from Russia. It could come from Indonesia. It could come from Bolivia. It doesn't matter. Anybody wants US dollars, they can now get them. You could be out in the middle of the desert in Africa somewhere, and if you've got an internet connection, I don't know, Elon Musk's Starlink, right? You could convert whatever your currency is to US dollars, even though the nearest bank is a 2-day walk from where you are. But in seconds, you could have it. We do all this already. We transmit money electronically. We watch as the Fed prints money like crazy, except they can't legally now print stablecoin. Okay, done. Yes, I know you could say, well, they could print the dollars to back the stablecoin. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this. Okay, criminals are always one step ahead of the law. Somebody will figure out how to manipulate this somehow. Will it be large scale? Who knows? Okay, but we all know politicians are criminals. So they'll figure something out to screw it up. But for all those people saying, oh, this is terrible, this is all that, no, it's not. It's not CBDC. It expands the reach of the dollar. It shrinks the borrowing capacity, the lending capacity, which gets us closer to paying off debt. Okay? If they can't borrow more, that's a good thing, which kills inflation. Before you poo-poo this, go and read up on it. Not the crazy people who are trying to give you all the, oh my God, this is terrible. No, go read the actual bill. Go see what it actually does. This isn't another Hawk Twa coin or something, or fart coin or something. This isn't a meme, okay? This is a dollar-backed asset that is literally the same as buying any other dollar-backed thing you get. Yeah, somebody could say, oh, there's a difference between gold and silver that I hold physically and stablecoin that I hold virtually. Yes. Do you have a bank account? You hold all those dollars virtually. You loaned all that money to the bank. If you don't know how a bank works, that's an IOU. That is your balance in your bank account. You don't own that money. You loaned it to the bank. You wonder why you get paid interest. Think about it. When you borrow money, you have to pay interest to the lender, right? Guess what? Why does the bank pay you interest? Because you loaned them money. That's what it is. You don't own that money. It's virtual. This is no different, except now it has to be legally backed by currency. What happens to the dollar? Who knows? I still say we're going to see another 5% to 10% drop in the value of the dollar, but so be it. All right, that's what it is. You've got to protect yourself somehow. The big advantage to this is that it allows the rest of the world to start converting to dollars, which is good for our economy, which stabilizes their economy so they don't have the violent swings in their money. If we have a stable currency, which the dollar, even though it's dropped a bit, is still comparatively relatively stable to most other currencies in the world. Is it perfect? Of course not. Is it a solution to some of the ills of the world? Yes. Is it going to be a worldwide currency? I don't know. What was BRICS trying to do? Create a worldwide currency. What's stablecoin? It's a worldwide dollar. If we had a currency that was stable, that the entire world used, and it happened to be ours, who do you think's the biggest beneficiary? Pinball out.